So if you observe, is Capricorn 1 2 is the Dhanishta 1 2 padas which are in the sign of Capricorn. So this particular area is not good for marriage. So when moon occupies Dhanishta, generally the person, the native, often goes for mates or partners who are very different in personality and outlook to them. So this obviously leads to a lot of conflict in these issues. So the main problem here is they often goes for mates or partners who are very different in personality and outlook to them. So this can be seen to be the most true when moon occupies the Capricorn part of Dhanishta, that is Dhanishta 1 2 padas. And you can ask so many astrologers, so they can tell you the Capricorn, the final area, that's Dhanishta 1 2 padas area of Capricorn, is not at all a good area for marriage. So when seventh lord is connected to this particular area, so most probably 99% you can see problems in marital life. Even more, you can understand Dhanishta is a Martian nakshatra, and Mars is not a very good planet for marital affairs. So this particular nakshatra carries so many good qualities. Such a thing does not make sense. How this particular Dhanishta, you talked about Astavasus, you talked so many good things, and suddenly you're saying this area, especially the Dhanishta 1 2 area, 1 2 padas area, is not at all good for marriage. Directly telling that. So if you see, the Martian energy here is not at all a good thing. That is the only reason we can say. Practically, if you observe so many people which are connected with this Dhanishta 1 2 padas, especially the 7th lord connection or the 7th cusp connection or the 7th house falling here, right, in this area, especially the 7th house is starting, means the 7th cusp is starting in this Dhanishta 1 2 padas area. You can clearly identify, you can clearly see the people are facing problems in marriage. So Mars is regarded as the most unfavorable planet for marital harmony. So once again, the Capricorn part of this nakshatra has more problems compared to the Aquarius part. The Dhanishta 1 2 padas have more problems in the marital affairs. So this is simply because Aquarius has a more accommodating nature as compared to Capricorn, right? Aquarius is a kind of adjustable nature. It has the sign. But Capricorn is a bit, not comfortable in this area. So these marital difficulties are usually enhanced when Mars, Saturn, Rahu, or Ketu, right? These four planets. Any of these four planets are not so positive generally. So when Mars or Saturn or Rahu or Ketu placed in this particular Dhanishta 1 2, then you can see there are some marital affairs, especially the Capricorn part, right, the Dhanishta 1 2 padas. So if this placement has some connection with the 7th house, it might be impossible for such a person to have a smooth married life. So most Cancer ascendants whose ascendant falls in this particular area, that is 16 degree 40 minutes to 30 minutes of Capricorn, they have a lot of problems related to marriage, right? So sometimes they don't marry at all. There are a lot of problems uh, before they get married itself related to marriage, so they don't get married at all. So this is because Dhanishta falls on the seventh house cusp for them, right? So the Cancer ascendants who have 16 degree 40 minutes to 30 degree, the Cancer ascendants, you know, they have this problem for sure. So when your ascendant is falling the in the Cancer area, the last part of Cancer area, that is when your ascendant is Auslesha 3 or Auslesha 4, then obviously your seventh cusp may fall in Dhanishta 1 2 padas. So for them, it's really, really a hard time uh, in marriage. So some people, they don't marry at all. See, this is because Dhanishta falls in the seventh cusp for them, right? When Aslesha 3 4 falling in ascendant, any of Aslesha 3 or Aslesha 4 is your ascendant star, then Dhanishta 1 2 can be your seventh cusp star pada. So those under the strong negative influence of the Capricorn part of Dhanishta often end up hating the opposite sex also. See, Rama, the Vishnu's avatars, one of the Vishnu's avatars, who is regarded as the epitome of good conduct and righteousness, faced numerous problems in his married life. So, in his chart, if you observe, Mars is placed in the Capricorn part of Dhanishta in the seventh house. So, he had to fight a big war even to rescue his kidnapped wife Sita, and even after things returned to normal, he had to abandon her on some very, you know, uh, very dramatic reasons. So, that's the whole story of Ramayana, right? So Dhanishta always has the ability to tune into some source. It's the concept itself is receptivity. So it can tune into some source. It has that ability, right? The most important aspect of this is the source. It tunes to itself. So to which tune it is actually tune it is turning into, right? What it is actually receiving, right? So in the present day world, if you observe, where media acts as the primary influence for so many people and provides them with ever declining or degenerating or some bad, you can say, standards of culture, music, dance, fine arts. So just imagine most Dhanista energy people find themselves tuning into these unwholesome influences. So this is the reason why the higher expressions of this particular nakshatra, which come about by direct tuning in with the universal mind, are very rare. They are very rare these days, because before turning up them into these higher influences, they are tuning themselves into these lower unwholesome things. So that is the bad stuff for Dhanista energy people. So the main thing is they are flexible, they are able to tune them to whatever they want. But the kind of influences these days the people are actually getting into really worrisome, right? Some unwholesome things. The primary influence is the most important thing. Primary influence for them these days becoming, they are before they are really getting into the matters of higher consciousness or higher levels. They are getting into the because of the social media or because of the surroundings, they are influenced by some unwholesome things. So that's where they're trapped. So in the universal scheme of things, if you observe, Dhanishta relates to the power to give fame and abundance. So it's one of the greatest things. So it is called as uh, it is a very good thing, that is it has the power to give fame and abundance, fame and as well as abundance. So this is called as Khyapayitri, you know, Khyapayitri Shakti means the power to give fame and abundance. So fame is also called as Khyati, if you observe, right? Khyati. The sound Kya is generally it sounds something like fame, right? It is related to the fame. A lot of very big fame is referred by that sound Kya, right? And Khyapayitri. So a sound pa is here very much related to the abundance and all the stuff. So Khyapayitri, uh, Khyapayitri. So the three itself it shows the power. The sound three is actually showing some kind of power, right? It has the power to give. Uh, so even whenever you see names starting with the letter starting with three, then you know uh, it's something like Trikarana, something like that. Trikarana Shuddhi, Trivikrama, right? Trinetra. The three sound, the three is adding more power to whatever the word it is taking, right? It is clearly, it of course it means the number three, which is also a kind of, it's showing some kind of power also, right? So the Khyapayitri Shakti, the power to give fame and abundance, is associated with Dhanishta energy. So its symbolism its, uh, its symbolism is basically prosperity. Prosperity is the main symbolism, you can say. Whatever the symbolism, the Damaru, right? It also means the prosperity. So the beneficial things associated with Dhanishta are enormous, as we discussed. Only the marital discord is one of the bad things associated with this nakshatra, that is also Dhanishta 1 2, where you cannot find some accommodative nature. Aquarius part, the Dhanishta 3 4 seem to be accommodative. So it's the peak of worldly achievements basically. So a characteristic often attached with the sign Capricorn, right? Worldly achievements is the main idea of Capricorn. So Dhanishta 1 2 seem to be very bad for marriage, but for worldly achievement it's really great. So it goes without saying that only when these worldly achievements are in tune with universal requirements, they have some meaning, right? So the universal scheme of things. So if the universe also is very much into these kind of achievements, means if the universe also has the same frequency, or it is also allowing the person to achieve the means, it's not for bad deeds, it should not be for bad deeds. But of course some people of Dhanishta, they can achieve some bad uh, things also, but better, it is only for the betterment of the universe, betterment of the society. So in keeping with its basic nature and disposition, our ancient rishis saw this is it's an active nakshatra, right? So even infants born under a strong influence of this nakshatra are more active than other infants, you can observe, right? Dhanishta infants are a bit more active. So they start to respond to music also from a very much earlier age than others. This is a nakshatra meant for getting out in the world and doing things. It's a very active nakshatra. That's why Mars is the ruler of it, and it has a lot of taste for music. Especially when you talk about music, you talk about Dhanishta energy. So thanks for watching this video.